Good afternoon, Finn fans, and welcome back to another episode of AT Fins News. In this episode, we're going to be deep diving into our upcoming matchup against the New York Jets, as well as give a little update on Tua Tagovailoa. So without further ado, let's just get right into it, shall we? So the first thing I'm going to mention or bring up before we even start previewing the New York Jets game this Sunday, I'm just going to talk about Tua for a little bit. I kind of stayed off social media after the scene that unfolded on Thursday Night Football. I kind of took a step back just because once that injury happened with Tua, there was so much animosity with Dolphin fans, and seeing a lot of things some Dolphin fans posted about Tua's injury after it just happened. I felt that it was kind of insensitive, so I just wanted to take a few days to get off of social media, get off of YouTube, just to kind of reprocess my thoughts about it. Because I mean, we can all agree that injury that Tua Tagovailoa sustained on Thursday night was gruesome. I mean, I've seen people get concussions. I've seen players get knocked out. I've seen the bad Ryan Shazier hit when he became paralyzed when he on that Monday Night Football night years ago, and that was bad as well. But I've never seen a quarterback, especially, get taken down and his hands seize up how they did, and how Amazon Prime kept showing it. And then you go on Twitter just to see people, prominent Dolphin fans that are content creators, talking about the injury and how negative some people were. I mean, I just didn't want to stand for it. I kind of wanted to reset because everyone's in like a dark place because of it, fighting back and forth in our fan base. So this is my first time coming out and actually talking about it. I mean, it's football, guys. I even seen some people say the hit that the Bengals player did was dirty. I mean, it's football. It wasn't really a dirty play. It looked dirty because of how he whipped him around so fast and threw him to the ground. It's just because that's a big man grabbing Tua, and Tua isn't a huge quarterback by any means, and we know that, guys. So when he turned him around with those G forces and a hit, I mean, it looked way worse than what it was. All he was trying to do was get the quarterback on the ground. I don't think it was a dirty hit at all. That's why there was no penalty for it either. And I mean, it was just an unfortunate thing for Tua because we all seen it. I mean, even from his biggest critics this year, Tua was taking another leap. He was playing really good football for the early part of the season, and hopefully he can just get healthy, guys. I'm really not worried about when he's going to come back or trying to guess when he's going to come back. But how all this circus is surrounding the Miami Dolphins, I wouldn't be surprised if he's out multiple weeks, not just this week, even though they had 10 days to prepare. Just because of the politics behind it, with the NFL getting bombarded because they already fired the neurologist that handled Tua's case. So I would think that he's going to miss this game against the Jets, and probably, I believe we play after the Jets, the Vikings. Let me just double check that. Yes. So after they play the Jets, they play, yes, the Minnesota Vikings. I was just making sure for you guys. But yeah, so I expect Imply to be out both of those games. I think he could come back against the Vikings, but I just think the NFL is going to talk to Mike McDaniel and say hold him out for those 2 weeks. But I would like to see him back if he's healthy, guys. Only if he's healthy. I mean, I know it sucks to roll with Teddy Bridgewater, and that's something we'll get into a little later. But, I mean, he's a comparable backup. He's done it in New Orleans when Drew Brees got hurt, and he went in for 4 weeks. We have a really good roster. He doesn't have to win us the games. He just can't lose them and throw dumb interceptions at the most inopportune times. But I mean, I think he can. I think he can win us a few games if Tua's out for 2 or 3. He can beat the Jets. I'm hoping he can beat the Vikings, which will be a tough game. So, and then hopefully by then Tua will be back if he's fully healthy. Like I said again, guys, I do not want Tua to try to force himself back early like he did after the Bills hit, and then if he gets another concussion this year. If he comes back too early, it could not only be career ending, it could be life threatening. So he needs to take his time. I know Mike McDaniel's going to do everything in his power to make sure he's fully healthy before he returns and not rush it. Because I think Mike McDaniel just truly cares about the kid. Just like when Tua got hurt and he was, I hope I don't even have to miss the Jets game, and Mike McDaniel responded to him saying, Tua, don't even worry about football right now. Let's get your health right. So I don't think Mike McDaniel's going to send him out there risking further injury from a head injury, especially because Tua wants to get out there, guys. But all I got to say about the whole injury situation, it was horrible to watch. It brought everyone's momentum down. You can tell on the field. And that was one of the main reasons we even lost to the Bengals. I think if Tua was in there the whole game, we would have easily handled the Bengals by maybe 2 touchdowns. Just because the Bengals really weren't even doing nothing on offense. It was just our offense was so lackadaisical after Tua got hurt. Understandably, that's their brother. That's his teammate. And, I mean, just the air in the stadium was sucked out of it. Our defense kept us in the game the whole game until the end. They kind of just fell off the rails. But the Bengals were not moving the ball on the Dolphins all game. Joe Burrow didn't really do much until the fourth quarter. So I'm not really worried about the Bengals. We'll see them in the playoffs if we see them, and it'll be a different story. We'll have a full team. Byron Jones will be back. Xavier Howard will be healthy, not dealing with a hamstring issue or a quad or whatever he's dealing with. So I wouldn't mind seeing him back in the playoffs. Let's run it back and see who comes out on top. But enough about the Bengals, enough about Tua's injury for now. I mean, it's just an unfortunate event. We're going to have to play through a next man up mentality. But let's look forward to the New York Jets game. Now, guys, real quick before we go into the keys to victory for the Miami Dolphins, I fully expect the Miami Dolphins, even with our injured quarterback, even with Xavier Howard might not being able to play, even with Jalen Waddle questionable, even with Tyreek Hill questionable, I don't think all of them are going to miss, but Xavier Howard might miss this game if he's dealing with a hamstring. You don't want those soft tissue injuries to linger all season, so maybe give him a break after having 10 days off and then coming back from Minnesota. That's probably a more likely scenario. He might be out. But I expect Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill probably to play this game, even though they're listed as questionable. But what I got to say real quick, even though the Jets are an up-and-coming team, I know they're 2-2, 500 ball, playing good. They cannot beat the Miami Dolphins, guys, this season. We cannot go to New York thinking we're going to just roll this team and then lose one of those classic Miami games where, they always lose one game a year where you don't expect it, like last year with the Jaguars. They weren't better. Even the Falcons. I mean, so they have to have a new mentality this year. We cannot expect to be contenders in the AFC and start on this great 3-1 record with playing the 4 teams we played and ending with 3-1, beating the Bills, and then lose to the Bengals, make them 3-1, and then go and lose to the Jets and go down to 3-2. It'll just ruin all the early season work they put into this. So they have to win this game. I know we have injuries. I know Tua's not out there, but this is a game that, as fans, we should expect to win. The Miami Dolphin players should practice like they expect to win and go out there in New York and make a statement. But other than that, let me show you the keys to victory in order to beat these New York Jets. And it's not going to be like the most important to the least important. It's just going to be a list I have. Number 1, keys to victory, is we're going to have to make Zach Wilson uncomfortable. He hasn't been out there. The last week was his first week out there on the NFL field after his injury. He played the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had a great last-minute drive to win that game, not taking anything away from the kid. It's his second year in the league. This defensive front started getting more pressure on Joe Burrow later in the game and making him uncomfortable. The Dolphins' pass rush has to get after Zach Wilson and make him uncomfortable from snap one. We can't just let him sit in the pocket, dissect our defense, look where the open guy is, and hit a player. Because if you don't know, they have playmakers on their team on the offensive side of the ball, that'll be another key to victory, and we'll get into that in a second. But Zach Wilson needs to be playing uncomfortable the whole game, and we're gonna have to contain Zach Wilson because he's an athlete, guys. We can't just overpass rush and let him lose contain and get outside, because that's where he thrives. He makes plays on the run. He'll extend plays and then throw a ball deep where the DB gets lost in the shuffle because they see Zach Wilson scrambling, and he throws the ball deep for 60-yard touchdown. We cannot let that happen. We have to make Zach Wilson uncomfortable with this defense, which is the main part of our team right now is our defense. Make Zach Wilson uncomfortable. Keep him in the pocket, though. Don't let him extend the play and hit him every chance you get. If you do that to Zach Wilson, he's a young quarterback. He has promise in this league, but he will not be comfortable in that pocket all game long. And that he is prone to making mistakes if he's not comfortable. We've seen it last year. We've seen it, well, not really this year. It was his first game last week. But if you make him uncomfortable and he starts getting his happy feet, he will make bad decisions because he thinks his arm is the best thing in the world that can get him out of trouble. But if he doesn't set his feet because he's worried about that pressure, well, our DBs can get a running start on the ball, break it up, or even pick the ball, take it to the house. So I'm expecting our defense to do this. I'm expecting Zach Wilson to have 1 or 2 interceptions in the game because I think our defense is ready to blow up and explode and take advantage of the mistakes quarterbacks are making. I know earlier in the season our DBs have been kind of dropping a lot of would-be interceptions. I think this is the week where they put it together. They have multiple interceptions this game and just make it a tough time for Zach Wilson and this offense. Number 2 key to victory, staying on the defensive side of the ball. This is something, it's going to go 1 and 2 on this keys to victory. We have to stop the run game from the New York Jets. They have a pretty solid rushing attack, guys, with Michael Carter and Breece Hall. Breece Hall being a rookie. That's a pretty talented duo, and they've been pretty good this year out of the backfield for the majority of the season. So one of the ways to make Zach Wilson uncomfortable is make him one-dimensional. So if we stop that run game, which we've have all year, and I have no quarries that it's going to be, they're going to just get blown up this week. Miami stops the run first and foremost, make Zach Wilson throw the ball 50, 60 times like they made Josh Allen. Like Lamar Jackson had to throw the ball a lot because they couldn't run it on us besides his long run. Even Mac Jones, even the Patriots couldn't run the ball on us. So, and the Bengals, the Bengals were one-dimensional as well. They tried to run. They kept trying to run the ball with Joe Mixon, but he wasn't getting anything. He had like 24 carries for like 50 yards, 60 yards. He didn't do much. So I expect us to stop the run and make Zach Wilson even more uncomfortable. But we're going to have to do that right off the bat to show them that there's no way you're going to run the ball, especially if you try to run it inside with Christian Wilkins, Raekwon Davis, Zach Seiler, Melvin Ingram, Agba, the list goes on and on. Our front seven is pretty ferocious, and I don't expect anything different. I think we stop that run game. Michael Carter and Breece Hall become irrelevant unless they're catching balls out of the backfield. But I expect our defense to shut that running game out right away and make Zach Wilson have to either throw the ball quick, make quick decisions, and make him more prone to mistakes. That's what I think is going to happen as far as our defense goes. And as well, there's one other part of this key to victory is we have to contain these receivers, guys, because their receiving core, it consists of pretty good talent. Elijah Moore is a baller. He's second year in the league. You got Corey Davis, who came from the Titans, pretty good receiver, and then Garrett Wilson, the fantastic rookie that they have right now that's just blowing the world on fire. Could be offensive rookie of the year in the NFL. So we got to contain these receivers, guys. And if Xavier Howard is out, we already know Byron Jones isn't playing. It could be a tough day for these DBs. They're going to have to be on it. They can't be lackadaisical. They're going to have to get in these receivers' faces, jam them just like they did against the Bengals, and get them off their timing, because if they have timing with Zach Wilson, he's just going to pick apart the defense in the secondary. So you got to jam them at the line of scrimmage, throw off their timing of their routes, and then allow that pass rush for Miami to get after Zach Wilson. And that kind of all ties in together for keys to victories. You got to make Zach Wilson uncomfortable. You got to stop that run game. You got to press the receiver so the defensive line can get to Zach Wilson and make him feel uncomfortable. So it all ties together, guys. So if our defense does those things, we'll be one step away from winning this game with ease. And then going to the offensive side of the ball, keys to victory. Number one, I know Teddy Bridgewater is starting. I know Mike McDaniel, he's already came out. There's not going to be any surprises there. I know a lot of us wanted to see Skylar Thompson play. I did as well, trust me. But I think Teddy Bridgewater, after rewatching the Bengals game, he had a pretty good game. There's no way they were going to take out Teddy Bridgewater after rewatching the film on that game. he played pretty well. Even that interception he had in the fourth quarter, you could argue that that was Mike Gesicki's fault because he ran the wrong route. So, I mean, even Mike McDaniel came out and said it was an option. So, I mean, you couldn't really fault him on that one. Teddy Bridgewater needs to take care of the ball this Sunday for them to win this game. He can't have any dumb turnovers. He's going to have to drive this offense down the field. We can't have 3 and outs after 3 and outs after 3 and outs and hoping this defense makes a play to win the game. Our offense is going to have to contribute. Teddy Bridgewater has to just let the ball fly, man. I mean, he's been in this position before. He's had 10 days to prepare for the New York Jets now. He's not like coming off the bench. He's our veteran. Mike McDaniel's already said he's going to roll with them. I trust Mike McDaniel's opinion, so roll with them. But I do know if we go in at halftime and we're losing like 10 or even 17-0, and our offense is just stagnant, you could see Skylar Thompson in this game, y'all. So don't lose hope that you're never going to see him, because if Bridgewater comes out lethargic, lackadaisical, not moving this offense, Mike McDaniel's not going to want to go to 3-2 after their 3-1 start, guys. So be on the lookout for that. But I expect Teddy Bridgewater to have a good game. But one of the main keys to victory on our offense, Teddy Bridgewater cannot turn the ball over this game. If he does, maybe one, but it can be in a crucial time. He has to play complementary football and let the defense ride when we get the ball, sustain some drives, put up some points, put some distance between the Jets, and just let them know that we're here to play. We're not here to keep them in the game by throwing dumb interceptions or having dumb penalties at inopportune times, guys. Another key to victory on our offense is run the ball, man. We see sometimes we run the ball with success, not consistently, but there's even time in the Bengals game at the whenever Teddy threw that interception to Mike Gesicki, we were running the ball consistently in that drive, guys. We got down to the 27 or I think it was the 27-yard line before that interception. Majority of it wasn't on the ground, with Raheem Mostert having a breakout run, Chase Edmonds coming in with timely runs. Feed them the ball more, guys, especially with the backup quarterback in. I expect to see a heavy dose of run now, because even in the Bengals game, we started seeing a lot more running plays, a lot more tight formations once Tua got hurt. So I expect that to continue this game. I expect Mike McDaniel to have some interesting ways to get our playmakers, our running backs, the ball off of handoffs, off of pitches, off the tosses. So we'll see. I mean, the good thing about Mike McDaniel is his creativity. So even though it's just a run play, it's exciting to watch how the run is developed, because of just how clever he is on the offensive side of the ball, guys. I mean, it's special to see. I think it's going to be a heavy dose of running game. We need the running game to be more consistent today or on Sunday, so we can actually take the pressure off of Teddy, let Teddy do some play action where the linebackers are playing up for the run, and then there's all kinds of space for Tyreek and Jalen Waddle to go off once they catch the ball in open space. So I really think that's going to be a main focus in this game, especially against the Jets. They're going to try to go in there, put up enough points to win and kind of survive, just to get to see if Tua's going to make it to the Vikings game, or even it'll be the same kind of similar game plan if he's not ready for the Vikings. Heavy run, good defense, timely passing, with our playmaker screen plays, get them in the field, and hopefully they break one. That's what the offensive game plan will be until Tua comes back healthy. And the last thing I'll say, a key to victory, we have to have good coaching. I mean, we've had good coaching all year, so it's no surprise that I have faith that Mike McDaniel is going to outcoach Saleh. I think Saleh's a good coach as well, good up-and-coming coach. They actually came from the same organization, the 49ers. They were on the same staff together, so I know there's mutual respect back and forth. I know that they probably know each other really well. But our coaching staff's going to have to come up with a good game plan to keep the Jets off balance, because they're such a young team. And one thing you don't want to give a young team is hope that they can win a game. The Miami Dolphins need to go in there. They need to make a statement right off the bat and show that we're one of the top dogs in the AFC, and you guys are up-and-coming team, but you're not on our level yet, so take a back seat. That's what the coach's mentality is going to have to be going into that Jets game. It's the New York MetLife takeover. It's going to be super exciting. It's Jets week, baby. I mean, I bet all Dolphin fans can't wait till Sunday. It's getting closer by the minute. I'm super pumped for it. And guys, 4-1 sounds a lot better to me than 3-2, doesn't it? So my prediction for this game, I think Miami. It's going to be close for the first half, which is going to give us kind of anxiety. Like, what's going on? Miami should be way better. I think in the second half, Miami kind of takes control of the game. I predict the final score is going to be 28-17. Miami Dolphins win this game. I think it could even be tied at halftime, so super close. And then Miami puts a couple touchdowns at the end of the game, and maybe Jets get a late touchdown at the end of the game. But 28-17 is my prediction. Not a bad 11-point win with the backup quarterback in, and then we move on to the Minnesota Vikings, one game at a time, baby. But like always, guys, I really, truly appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for the support. You guys mean everything to me. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, if you can please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button so YouTube can send the content out to more people, because a lot of times they don't even know we are out here existing. So please hit the like button, and if you're new, hit the subscribe button. And like I said, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I love each and every one of y'all. And thanks for helping this channel grow organically. I truly appreciate it. But like always at the end of my streams, fins up, baby. I'm out. Peace.